I'm just going to do a quick overview of Work Package 4. My name's Pam Gill. I'm the Deputy CEO at the Refugee and Migrant Centre in Birmingham and the Black Country. If we can, yeah, that's fine, sorry. So the aims of the Work Package 4 falls into two main categories, really. First one is jobs, creating sustainable work placements and job opportunities, employment guides and weekly employment sessions in the community for each city, so that's Wolverhampton, Birmingham and Coventry. Digital guide and a regular business forum to help West Midlands employers to connect with migrant communities. And lastly, supporting employers to understand legal processes and increasing awareness for the untapped skills and resources within the migrant community. The other part of the programme was skills. So identifying skills gaps and training refugees and migrants to strengthen the workforce. And one of the courses that we were offering on this work package was a digital manufacturing accreditation through a mobile fab lab to encourage manufacturing pathways for refugees and migrants. So the partners on this particular work package were Coventry City Council, who were doing drop-in employment sessions and developing a careers guide. Interserve, now Mighty, were doing work placements, looking at apprenticeships, mentoring individuals, employers roundtable, creating a digital careers guide and a business leaders forum. We then have Birmingham City Council, who were doing employment drop-in sessions and developing careers guide and something called knowledge transfer sessions. Coventry University were doing all the evaluation and also the digital fabrication course, which was qualified to an OCN level. And then there were ourselves as refugee centres within Coventry and Wolverhampton and Birmingham, where we employed employment brokers to reach out to employers. So we were going to reach out to 2,000 employers across the West Midlands, both face-to-face and sort of other means of contact, and look at providing job opportunities for at least 50 migrants. So that in a nutshell were all the partners involved on the work package. So some of the key achievements to date. So the programme's been running for 3 years. Obviously COVID hit for the last 12 months and that's put a little bit of a, I suppose, a hold on some of the things, but we still managed to achieve quite a lot. So I'm going to just go through some of the headline figures. So we reached over 1,750 employers. We held 147 face-to-face meetings with companies. We trained 131 migrants on the OCN digital fabrication course. We delivered 76 drop-in employment sessions. We mentored 108 migrants. We've held 3 employer roundtable events, and we've helped participants into work placements. We've helped and supported 147 migrants into employment, and some of the main categories of employment they've found is through the sectors of nursing, care assistants, retail, warehouse operatives and accountants. And some of the other achievements is that we've established really good working relationships with other key stakeholders. So the NHS, the Salvation Army, Wolverhampton Council, Refugee Employment Network, Skills Training UK and the Workers Education Association. So yeah, that's some of the organisations we've made key links with just to promote employment within the migrant sector. So these are just some of the couple of examples of some of the people that we've helped. Christabella was offered a 4-week placement in a customer service role at Interserve, and then she was offered full-time employment as a consequence of that. Fred was supported with employability skills and then gained employment as a warehouse attendant. Kenny was supported with interview skills, confidence building, and then he gained employment as a care assistant. Ada supporting to securing employment as a nurse. So these are just a couple of examples of some of the participants that we've helped along the way. We've also helped enroll participants onto university courses, especially adult nursing courses. We've also helped participants to do volunteering, so such as receptionist and administration roles. So we've sort of helped to put them in a volunteer placement, and that's worked really well. So we've got a couple of slides here showing digital fabrication. These courses were run in the Fab Lab, but they were also mobile. So they were held, I know that at Refugee and Migrant Centre, I think we had a couple on site in Wolverhampton where they run the course, and it was really successful. And also obviously employment support within each office as well. So some of the challenges really, the inability to place more migrants into employment. Some of the employers were not receptive to employing overseas trained migrants. Some employers failed to recognise overseas qualifications. And then some employers were not willing to employ migrants who did not have UK work experience. Some of the other challenges were unable to have face-to-face meetings with employers due to COVID, unable to provide employment opportunities in a number of sectors for our participants due to COVID, and unable to train some of our participants because of the lack of their access to the internet. I know that we're doing everything via sort of Teams and Zoom at the moment, but unfortunately our participants don't have that luxury. Well, a lot of them don't. And even if they do have a computer at home, it's almost likely to be shared, especially with homeschooling and everything else that's going on. So that was quite a barrier and a challenge for us. Some of the challenges for the migrants themselves were they were not able to do flexible working due to childcare and other personal responsibilities. Lack of English language was also a very, very big challenge that we faced. I know that in the program, MiFriendly program, we've also run some ESOL classes, which helped to combat that barrier. They're unable to provide documents required for employment sometimes, such as enhanced DBS checks, especially if they've come from another country and they fled war, etc. It's going to be quite difficult to do a DBS check. Lack of knowledge of the UK working culture, just some of the basic things around health and safety and some other sort of cultural aspects of working in the UK. And also lack of basic IT skills. So word processing, emails, some people hadn't even set up email accounts, etc. So that was some of the challenges. So some of the learning for the work package 4, we now as a partnership better understand how migrants, newly arrived migrants especially, do job search. We understand how refugee grassroots organisations help other migrants to source employment. So there's been more partnership working across the West Midlands for Coventry, Wolverhampton, Birmingham, to have a look at some of these grassroots organisations and see what they're providing. We've become more adaptable to change delivery methods to suit different contexts. So, you know, normally you'll just do a one-to-one session with somebody, a participant, and now we're looking at various different ways to engage with the migrant community and see what exactly they need. So we've adapted our programme slightly to that. Multi-agency working has been a big thing, and I think that's been one of the biggest successes for the project to date. Both sort of working with the different councils, different organisations, but also the corporate sector. So Interserve have really opened up the doors for us to do that and carry on doing it, I think, as part of the legacy work. We've got a better understanding of skills employers are looking for, and also understand some of the barriers and fears that employers face in providing employment for migrants. Coventry University have done a lot of evaluation and research on that, and we should be able to have that when the project sort of comes to an end, which should be really good reading and learning resource for us for that. So moving forward, we'll continue to maintain working relationships with all the delivery partners. We'll continue to maintain working relationships with external partners such as Business in the Community and Salvation Army, to name a few. We'll continue to use the Careers Guide and the Employers Guide. And I've put 2 links there because I'm hoping this presentation might be shared with the participants, where you can go into the links and have a look at what was produced. So the Employers Guide was produced by Interserve, and it's really useful for employers to look at. sort of rules, regulations, documentation, sort of any questions and answers and frequently asked questions. So it's really good. And also we've developed a careers guide for partners to use as well, which is really good. Also, we'll continue to share best practice with our partners. So once the project's ended, I think we've created such a good relationship between the 3 cities that we'll all continue to keep using and sharing best practice among our partners. And lastly is just to maintain the key relationships with some of the employers that we've developed in the region. I know that we've got people in Coventry, Wolverhampton and Birmingham that have created all these really good links with some of these employers, and COVID came into play. I think we could have done a lot more, but I think as sort of things are going to be relaxed a little bit more, we're going to continue to do that. We're not just going to stop and say that's the end of the project. You know, we're going to still, migrants are part of most of our organisations, and we're going to be looking for opportunities for them. So we're going to keep these links open as a way forward and use some of these resources that we've created, like the Employers Guide, the Careers Guide, to sort of keep pushing that agenda forward. And I think lastly, what do some of the participants say about MiFriendly Work Package 4? That they've gained confidence, they found it rewarding, they've got a lot more opportunities, self-fulfillment, and they felt empowered. So I'd like to think that the Work Package 4 and all the partners involved on that have really made a huge difference to working with participants of the migrant community, but also working with employers to open up doors and look at challenges, look at barriers, look at how we can overcome them, and sort of work more closely together. And I think that's it from me, Diana. I think that was the last slide.
Thank you. It's a great panel.